Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches. No importa la hora que sea, siempre es un gran momento para aprender español con Profesor Pablo. Please like, please subscribe, please comment, and please share. Now, today's lesson is Subjunctive Saga number 3. This is like opening up Pandora's box. This is like the wild, wild west. Today's lesson has a lot of moving parts in it. It's like taking the case off of a watch and looking at all the gears in there twisting and spinning around. Well, it's not so much about conjugating. We already know how to do that. The tools have already been input in the language learning module. But today is more about concepts. We want you to be able to get to the word K and know whether to go indicative or go subjunctive. Well, first of all, before we get here, let's take a look down here. If you describe something that's definite, something that's certain, you're going to use the indicative. And when we say indicative, we mean verb numbers 3 through 7. Present, preterite, imperfect, future, and conditional. Today's lesson will focus solely on the present tense, verb number 3. When we say subjunctive, we're talking about verb numbers 8 and 9. Today's lesson will focus solely on verb number 8, opposite vowel, present subjunctive. Now, describe something that's definite, something that exists, right? Something that's certain. You're going to go indicative with the present tense. But we're going to find out after that K, if you're describing something that's indefinite or uncertain, you're going to go with the subjunctive, verb number 8, opposite vowel. So let's take a look and see how that plays out. If I were just to take I and alguien, if I want to say, ask the question, is there someone here that speaks French? I, alguien aquí, que. Once you get to the K, you got to jump off that diving board. You're going indicative or you're going subjunctive. Okay, here it's not certain, right? It's uncertain. It's indefinite. Is there anyone here that speaks French? Hay alguien aquí que. After that K, where are you going? Are you going habla or hable? Well, the answer is hable because it's uncertain. Hay alguien aquí que hable francés? If I want to make a statement and say there is someone here that speaks French, then I'm going to go with the present tense. Hay alguien aquí que habla español. We want to make sure when you get to that K, you got to make a choice, indicative or subjunctive. Let's go here, alguien. Do you know anyone that can solve the problem? Conoces, I got to use a personal A. We don't use a personal A with I, but with all these other verbs, we're going to use a personal A when we use them and then introduce a person. So, do you know anyone would be conoces a, the personal A, conoces a alguien que can solve. Once you get to that K, what are you going to do? Like the old ¿Qué pasa? What's going on? Well, ¿Qué pasa? K is happening in this lesson. What are you going to do? Are you going indicative or are you going subjunctive? Here we go. Do you know anyone that can solve the problem? ¿Conoces a alguien que, is it puede or is it pueda? ¿Conoces a alguien que pueda resolver el problema? Because it's indefinite, right? It's uncertain. Let's go with tener. Let's say, do you have anything that's bigger to a sales clerk? ¿Tienes algo, anything? ¿Tienes algo que es más grande or sea más grande? It's indefinite. You don't know that they have it. So you'd say, ¿Tienes algo que sea más grande? And then the clerk responds, oh, yeah. Sí, tenemos algo que es más grande. Tenemos algo que es más grande. Now, algún and alguno and alguna, algunos and algunas can mean like by themselves, like algunos muchachos, some boys, right? But we're going to find out in translation, these are going to many times mean any. Like, do you know any girl that wants to play softball? ¿Conoces a alguna? Here it is, chica. ¿Conoces a alguna chica? Que, is it, there you go. You're on the tip of the diving board. Are you going indicative or subjunctive? ¿Conoces a alguna chica que, is it quiere jugar softball or quiera jugar softball? Quiera, subjunctive. The person says, yeah, I know a girl that wants to play softball. Sí, conozco a una muchacha que, present tense, quiere jugar softball. Now, what is this blue and what is this squiggly all about? Well, algún can't be used alone, right? It can't be used alone. It's got to be followed by a noun. That's why the blue mark means that you can use it by itself, or you can have a squiggly and use it with a noun that matches up with it after it. But here, algún has to be followed by a masculine singular noun, like any boy. Algún muchacho. In that case, it'd be some boy, algún muchacho. But if I want to say, do you know any boy that wants to play football? ¿Conoces a algún muchacho que quiera jugar fútbol, soccer? But if I just want to say, some boy, algún muchacho. Some boy will know the answer. Algún muchacho sabrá la respuesta. So algún, depending on how you use it, can mean some, and it also can mean any. All right, now why is algún underlined here with the green? Because you can say un, uno, una, unos, and unas, and use them as well as algún, alguno, alguna, etc. For example, algún muchacho would be some boy or any boy. Any boy has to be in that context of, like, conoces a algún muchacho que quiera jugar béisbol? Do you know any boy that wants to play baseball? Like, un día, one day, a day. Un año, 1 year. Uno. Uno can be used by itself. It's not going to be followed by a noun. It's just uno, one. But if you want to say one girl, una muchacha, one boy, un muchacho. That's why it has a squiggly. You could just say alguna, algunos, and algunas by themselves. If I want to say, do you know any students that want to earn some extra money? It would be, conoces a algunos estudiantes que. Now here's the que. Are you going to go quieren or quieran? Conoces a algunos muchachos que quieran ganar un poco extra de dinero? There you go. Let's take tener. You go to a hotel room or to a hotel and you ask the clerk, ma'am, do you have a room with an ocean view? Do you have a room that has an ocean view? ¿Tiene usted, señora, un cuarto que? Now we're at the que. Here's your un cuarto, there's your un. ¿Tiene usted un cuarto que, is it going to be tiene vista al mar or que tenga vista al mar? You don't know if there's a room open at that time, so you have to say it's uncertain, it's indefinite. You're going to go present subjunctive. ¿Tiene usted un cuarto que tenga vista al mar? Then the clerk says, claro que sí, of course. Tenemos varios cuartos que tienen vista al mar. We have many rooms that have an ocean view. Buscar. You go to a real estate broker or salesperson and you say, we're looking for a house that has a pool, that's in a nice neighborhood where there isn't a lot of crime. Okay, so you would say, buscamos una casa que. What are you going to do? I know you can conjugate present tense, present subjunctive, but what are you going to use? What's the concept here? The concept is that you don't know that the house you're describing exists in that area. Therefore, it's got to be subjunctive. So we're looking for a house that has a pool. Buscamos una casa que tiene or tenga, que tenga piscina. That's in a nice neighborhood. Que, is it está en un buen barrio or que esté en un buen barrio? Buscamos una casa que tenga piscina, que esté en un buen barrio where there isn't a lot of crime. Donde no, is it going to be I or is it going to be haya? Well, you're describing something that's indefinite and uncertain. It's subjunctive, all three subjunctives. Buscamos una casa que tenga piscina, esté en un barrio bonito, donde no haya mucho crimen. Listen to that. Buscamos una casa que tenga piscina, esté en un barrio bonito, donde no haya mucho crimen. That's the beauty of the Spanish language. You get to the word que, you're on the end of that diving board. Are you going indicative or are you going subjunctive? You're going subjunctive because you're describing something that's uncertain, indefinite. Then the realtor says, oh yeah, ningún problema, no problem. Tenemos una casa que tiene piscina, está en un barrio bonito, donde no hay mucho crimen. All right, so here's the indicative present tense. Tenemos una casa que tiene piscina, está en un barrio bonito, donde no hay mucho crimen. Beautiful. Necesitar. I need someone to help me. Necesito, personal A. Necesito a alguien que me, there's the que. Am I going indicative or am I going subjunctive? It's a concept. I need someone, it's indefinite. I need someone to help me. Necesito a alguien que me, is it ayuda or ayude? It's subjunctive, ayude. Person says, I have someone that can help you. Tengo a alguien que lo puede ayudar. There you go, indicative. Let's go with necesitar. Una comida is a meal. So you want to say, I need a meal that fills me up. There may not be a meal that fills you up at that restaurant. The portions are scarce. You say, necesito una comida que me, is it going to be llena or llene? Necesito una comida, por favor, que me llene. Que me llene. It's going to be subjunctive. And the lady says, oh, we've got a meal that is very filling. Tenemos una comida que llena mucho. Ningún problema. Quiero. I want a house that's at the beach. Quiero una casa que está en el mar or esté en el mar. Quiero una casa que esté en el mar. You're projecting what kind of home you would like and where. Okay, that is subjunctive. I wish to live in a world that has no violence. Deseo vivir en un mundo que no... Where are you going with the K? Deseo vivir en un mundo que no tiene violencia o que no tenga violencia. Que no tenga violencia. So, what are we saying here? We're saying that when you're describing something definite, something that's certain, you're going to go with the indicative, and we're talking present tense here in this lesson. If you're asking a question about something indefinite, your description of that something that's indefinite or uncertain is going to be in the present subjunctive opposite vowel. It's a simple concept. You just need to practice it so it kind of just flows off the tip of your tongue. Down here with otro and otra, otros and otras, that means another one or other. For example, let's say someone gives you a book and you don't find it very interesting. You tell the librarian, please, I need a book that's more interesting. Por favor, señora, necesito un libro que, here we go, indicative or subjunctive. Necesito un libro que es más interesante or necesito un libro que sea más interesante. It's going to be sea. And the lady comes back with another book. Oh, señor, ningún problema, no problem. Tenemos aquí un libro que es muy interesante, que es más interesante. How about down here? Someone brings you a box, you're packing. Y la caja es muy chica, es muy pequeña. Usted necesita una caja más grande. Usted le dice a la persona, oiga amigo, por favor, necesito una caja que sea más grande. You have a tool that's not working. You need a tool that works better. Necesito una herramienta que funcione mejor. These are not questions. These are statements, but I'm describing something that I don't know if it exists. It's uncertain, right? It's indefinite. So we're also going with the subjunctive. Again, you're going to, in a positive statement, you're going to use indicative to describe something that's definite and certain. You know it exists, right? But if you're making a statement like, I need a car that doesn't break down. Necesito un carro que no se descomponga, right? They may not have that car that doesn't break down for you at that lot. So describing something that's not definite, describing something that is uncertain, doesn't exist, you're going to go with subjunctive. Asking a question about someone or something and describing that someone or something that you're asking about, if it's indefinite, if it's uncertain, you don't know it exists, it's going to be subjunctive. But if you make a statement about something that does exist, something that is certain, it's going to be indicative, just your old present tense. That's the concept that you need to practice with. You have the tools, just use them appropriately and correctly. Okay, creo que es todo, pero una cosa. Let me tell you a story. Quiero contarles una historia muy buena y chistosa. Cuando era maestro, tenía una clase de AP Spanish, Advanced Placement Spanish, después del almuerzo. Y mi amigo y yo, los viernes, mi amigo iba a una taquería durante el almuerzo para comprar burritos. Tenían burritos a 35 centavos por un burrito los viernes. Entonces, en las últimas 4, 5, 6 semanas del año escolar, poco antes de que mis seniors se graduaran, yo compraba muchos burritos los viernes y se los regalaba durante la clase. O sea, mi amigo Mike iba a la taquería y le decía, Mike, cómprame por favor 20, 25 burritos a 35 centavos cada burrito. Me compraba los burritos, me daba la bolsa grande con los burritos, calientita la bolsa, ¿ve? Entonces, sonaba la campana, los estudiantes entraban a mi salón, se sentaban y estábamos listos para empezar el día, empezar la clase, empezar a enseñar español. Y muchas veces en high school hay estudiantes que durante el lunch, durante el almuerzo, no comen. No comen porque están ocupados, hablando con sus amigos, estudiando quién sabe qué cosa. Entonces, muchos de mis estudiantes, aún después del almuerzo, todavía tenían hambre. Entonces, yo tenía la bolsa de burritos debajo de mi podio, mi sostén. Y yo les decía, to teach them the subjunctive. This is how I had fun with it. I would say to them, is there anybody here that's hungry? ¿Hay alguien aquí que tenga hambre? It's like Ali finding an opening and going after that punch. There's an opening to use that subjunctive. You're on that diving board. Jump off into the subjunctive. ¿Hay alguien aquí que tenga hambre? That has not eaten? Que no haya comido? That's how you learn Spanish naturally. You hear it, you hear it, you hear it, you hear it. But in our circumstance, we're trying to teach you and give you the tools to understand that and create that. So I would always go to them. ¿Hay alguien aquí que tenga hambre, que no haya comido? Y los estudiantes levantaban la mano, muchos estudiantes. Y yo tenía la bolsa llenita de burritos, y eran burritos buenos, de frijoles con queso, una tortilla calientita y suave. Entonces yo echaba los burritos en el aire. Los echaba al aire a los estudiantes, desde enfrente hasta muy atrás. Echaba los burritos. Y los estudiantes se comían los burritos. Y durante todo esto estábamos practicando español, yo hablando español, ellos hablando español. Por favor, maestro, yo quisiera tener un burrito. ¿Usted quiere uno? No, gracias, no tengo hambre. Tal vez la semana próxima. Hablábamos español, amigos. Era la vida real. Y a veces no hay nada mejor que darle algo de comer a una persona. Comer es bueno, es divertido, es necesario, es algo muy importante en la vida. Los burritos voladores, the flying burritos. Can you imagine? I would have 25 burritos and I just toss them to wherever the students were in the back of them. They catch them, they'd eat them, we go on with our lesson. It was incredible. Era increíble, fenomenal, maravilloso, buenísimo. Snip, snap, snap. This lesson is all told out. Colorín colorado, esta lección se ha enseñado. Okay, thank you so much. Keep tuning in. We've got over 340 lessons now. We're going to 400, then we'll go beyond that. This is crazy. How many lessons are we going to have? Well, infinite number of lessons, hopefully. God willing. Dios quiera. That's a great expression. Dios quiera. And that's in the subjunctive. It's not Dios quiere. Dios quiera. It depends on God's will. Dios quiera. There's a great reason why it's subjunctive, right? Because it's not definite that he's going to want me to teach 1,000 more lessons. So we say, Dios quiera. You got plans for a vacation. You say, vamos a ir al mar, vamos a pasar tiempo esquiando, vamos a ir a los diferentes restaurantes, sitios turísticos. And you say, Dios quiera, God willing. Subjunctive because depende de lo que quiera Dios. Ok, es todo por ahora. Tengan un gran día. Los quiero mucho. Bye.